This segment is brought to you by JigMasters Jigs. When in doubt, get the jig out. Go to JigMasters.com and use promo code PNF20 and save 20% off your next jig order today.
You're listening to Bass Fishing for Noobs on the Paddle and Fin podcast with your hosts Ryan Milford and Sean Lavery.
Welcome back to the Bass Fishing for Noobs segment of the Paddle and Fin podcast. I am your host, Sean. With me, as always, is my co-host, Ryan. What's up, Ryan? And we got Dan and Jimmy in the house tonight. Welcome, gentlemen.
Hey, Reel Down in the house.
That's right, Reel Down representing. So thank you for joining us on short notice. The guest that we were going to have ended up in the ER very short notice today, so we had to kind of call all hands on deck. We need help. So that's why they're here tonight. But we're going to talk about kayak storage and crates and that kind of thing. So,
well, first, I'm going to be the guy who everybody's going against in the noob tournament this month. So, this is also my chance to declare war against all the noobs. I'm going to destroy y'all. Y'all are going down. You're noobs.
As long as he doesn't go to the place he went today.
That is cold. Starting out with
a little change.
I've actually had 2 or 3 people already reach out to me saying, when's this getting started? So hopefully, it's going to be another good month.
Hey, I'm telling you, I'm calling it for the championship round. If y'all want to go against another host, I got it.
Nice. Well, I know Susie did pretty well this month, but man, they still had a couple of people ahead of her too. So I think the guy who won this month had over 100 inches. I'm
gonna get in with Conrad Benetti and see if he'll let me.
104 inches and a quarter. So that's a hell of a month.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and say that y'all need to vet y'all's noobs because those are not noob numbers.
Well, there's been some discrepancy about that, about like what's a noob, and this is for people to help learn about that. So they don't necessarily have to be a noob at bass fishing. Know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, those people are welcome too for learning experience and all that. But then we're not going to, just because somebody's a good fisherman, if there's noobs to tournament fishing in kayaks, then that's really what that's geared around, to kind of learn the process for,
catch photo
release and all that.
Ryan looks like he has like a really big eye patch on most of the time.
Yeah.
with the mic.
We're just gonna start calling him the pirate.
Lakes fishing. I'm going to be fishing a lot in September, but it's all like not the best fishing lakes. So
I'm not getting ready for bigger events though.
So. Yeah, so I'm not going to be fishing it. I'm not going to put up over 100. So if you do that, you're going to beat me. I'll be lucky to catch 90 on where I'm fishing. But yeah.
I don't know. They never need to put me up as the host to beat again, because I have lost like all confidence in myself this weekend.
I'm going to come up there. I'm going to cut off that underspin, and I'm going to teach you how to throw something else.
Dude, I threw a shaky head and a Ned rig most of the weekend. I didn't throw it as much.
I'll tell you,
I was trying to do finesse, and 2-day tournament, I'm lagging a little bit. Somebody's lagging a little bit. I don't know if it's me or Jimmy.
You'll be right.
No, if you've got the rain that we had this week and have been getting from that hurricane, everything's messed up, man. We fished today in a spot that was all over the place. The water was dropping. It was going from cloudy to clear, moving really fast. The fish were all in a funk. It was crazy.
Yeah, I went all the way to Gunnersville.
This morning actually got cold.
I was in the KBBT, the team relay deal today, where it was 4 different people on a team, and they could be from anywhere. My guys, another one was in Alabama, one Texas, and Matt up in Michigan. and it was 3-hour deals, and I had the first 3 hours, and I literally caught my biggest fish in the last minute. Like the last minute, and I got it uploaded the next minute, which you had an hour to upload it. I didn't know that, but that is the quickest I've ever CPR'd a fish. Like I might could have got an extra 1/4 inch, but it was like just as quick as I could take it and send it. So it was tough, man. That was only 15 and a quarter. So I fished for 3 hours on Gunnersville, and the best fish I caught was 15 and a quarter. So.
And now you understand the joke I said about he can't go there to beat y'all in the noob tournament.
But congrats to the winners today. Seriously, it's a cool event. It was fun fishing a team tournament. First time I had ever done that. So yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Your team seemed like it was pretty good too. Like the names on your team. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, my boy Jeremy. I had Jason Campbell and Matt Linseman. I can't say his last name because I'm from Mississippi, but or any name if you listen to the reel down. But but Jeremy killed it. He had a 20 and then like an 18, and within 3 hours. That's tough to do, you know. So yeah, sorry.
No. So
we're turning this into the Reel Down 2.0. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, we're just taking it over.
I'm just waiting for one of those big name guys just to pop in, you know.
Well, we'll call Russ.
Yeah.
Russ
Yeah.
Why not? He hasn't been on for like what, 2 days, you know?
Yeah. Him and Cody Milton are just we're gonna have to like make them hosts.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like, look, you ask the questions because I already know everything about you, man.
Well, you know, Russ, you know, he lives here in the Nashville area, but he's never been on this segment, you know. He's too good for us noobs.
Have you invited him?
I did reach out to him a long time, like when I first started the segment, but we weren't friends on Facebook yet.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he ever got the message or not. So yeah, I never did reach back out.
Yeah, I'm telling you, y'all should reach out to him and Cody. Those people are full of information.
Yeah, I want to reach out to Cody for sure too.
Well, dude, we've had him on so many times that me and him just text and stuff now. So I can make that happen.
Yeah, and he's on Team Noob. What up?
Woo, New Canoe. All you Hobie and Jackson guys, whatever.
It seems like everybody's switched.
I was just gonna say that
might mean that there's something going right with that product.
Hey, I tell you what, I looked at. I don't remember if I talked about it on the podcast or not. I looked at the New Canoe Frontier 12 before I bought my kayak, and like I love the layout of it. I love how it's really wide and stable, and the seat looks cool, and you know it's just so open. The one thing, and I know Jimmy, me and you have talked about this. The one thing that steers me away from that is the steering handle can only be on the left side, and I steer with my right side. That's the good thing. That's the thing I like about Jackson is it's on both sides, so you know you can take your pick. And I hold my rod in my left hand, and I'm constantly adjusting to keep myself moving. So I'll cast out, and I'll be holding my rod, and I'll reach down and adjust or whatever I need to do, then come back up and reel, reach down, adjust. And I couldn't do that if I had to reach down.
I'll tell you what.
We have identified your problem.
I'm gonna I'll say something to Everett Park, because like based off of the way that works, there's no reason that it couldn't be on the other side. So maybe I can get them to just basically flip the mount. And then we can talk about it again.
Just make one for me, and I'll take it, and nobody else can have it.
It would only be like a couple more because I pre-drill it for the pivot drive handle. I mean, it'd only be a couple dollars more. Seems like that wouldn't be an issue. So.
And if it's something that's too out, I got plenty of buddies that have CNC mills and 3D printing. We'll make it happen. All right, so now to the show to what we were here to talk about.
So, we were going to talk about crates and kayak storage and, talk to people who actually know what they're doing. My kayak is a mess.
Then I'm not supposed to be here.
Mine's still a mess, and I'm supposed to know what I'm doing.
I actually I have a crate on the back of mine in a crate bag. I forget. I was going to try and see if I could share my screen, but I don't want to screw anything up, so I was just going to show you guys a picture of mine. It was something I bought off at Amazon, but it works. No, it's that one. Can you see that?
Oh, that's cool.
It actually it fully encloses it. It's waterproof. And it's the only thing is it's zippered shut.
Wait, no, there's a milk crate in that?
Yes.
Oh, well, that's nifty.
Yeah, so it actually works really well. And then go ahead, Ryan.
Do you buy that all together, or do you just buy that and then get a milk crate and put it in it?
Yeah, no, I had the milk crate already. It's just you put the milk crate in there, and
that's cool.
So you can see it has like a pocket.
Some info, because like for people that don't have the extra money to spend, that's awesome.
Yeah, I think it was like 40 or 50 bucks on Amazon. It really wasn't crazy, and it has lots of pockets and stuff. And I mean it doesn't hold a ton of stuff, but those are the big boxes. It can hold 2 of the big boxes from Plano, but it's actually crammed full of stuff. But I've been looking at the Yak Gadget stuff because I feel like that's going to be way easier and quicker to get into. So
I love the Yak Gadget crate.
Yeah.
I need to order. It sucks because I started going like minimalistic and coming up with different ways to carry tackle on my F12. I got it down to an Engel cooler, a 16-quart Engel cooler that would hold some of my boxes, and then it's got a little tray in it. And then I also went completely with no box, where I'd fabricated some Hobie Plano holders on the tracks, and I did all of that and finally got everything how I wanted it. And was like, okay, I've saved weight, blah 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 blah, and then I finally got my hands on the XD crate, the XL for the bigger boats from John at Yak Gadget, and that all went out the window, and now I'm back to using the crate because that thing's just so awesome.
And see, mine, I have the other one. I mean, we're both on the Yak Gadget team, so we're obviously going to talk about that. But I had the Black Pack for a long time. And the Black Pack, that's a great crate. It holds a lot of rods. I had, I think, 8 on mine. But it's a good crate, no problems with it. Really durable, like everything Yak Attack makes. But the thing that kind of sets apart the Yak Gadget for me, I have the smaller one. I only use 3600s. I actually like, and I use all 3600s, but I like the ones with the holes. Like that, you can't find them anymore, but I bought a bunch of them because I knew they were not going to sell them anymore. So if something happens, I get some water in my crate, I just kind of open them all up and just put a fan over them so they dry out. So that's not a problem. But I can fit 8 in there, and that's more than I ever take. I actually keep my tackle pretty minimal. Like I don't carry a lot of different colors, things like that. I keep it pretty simple. I have a lot of techniques, but I keep each one really simple. Like spy bait, I might only have 2, so I don't keep anything crazy. I keep it at the house and then fill up as I have to whenever I lose something. And that's easier for me, so I know if I need to order something too. But on my Yak Gadget crate, something I did, and you can look back at my Facebook, and if anybody wants to know, you can message me. I have the smaller one because I have a new canoe pursuit. It fits perfectly the 12-inch Yak Attack track mount. I have the silver one where the screws on top and the screws on bottom, it's 2 parallel things of screws. And then you can fit 4 Omega rod holders. And I have them going back. So whenever I went to a new canoe, I really want a fast, sleek, storage. That's like the big thing I want on my kayak, so I wanted to figure out how to do it. And because of the way the Yak Gadget crate is, because it's slanted kind of like at not a 45, a little bit less than that. So the way the rod holder sit is almost parallel to that slant, the way the rods go up. So if you have a square crate, I know people can't see us at the house, but if you have a square crate and you have the rod holder sitting on the end, your rods would hit it. But because it's angled like this, then because it's slanted down, all my rods fit on that track. So I'm able to have all my rods horizontal now.
That was, when I saw that setup, I really liked it, and that's another one of the things that really is driving me towards that. So it just seems like I was looking at ways to do the horizontal storage for my rods, and that seems like pretty much the easiest way there is, really.
It's hard to explain it like without seeing a picture of it, but because of the slant of the way the box is, you can keep your rods horizontally if you put a track on the back, and so that's worked great. It's got a bag on the front, like a waterproof bag with a tape seal, tape seam, so you can always keep I keep my extra line. I usually keep a pack of 6 and 8 pound line in there, and my sunglasses, and then like a rag. So I can keep all my stuff in there. It fits 8 3600s plus some room on top. So I'm able to put my graph. I have a 7-inch Raymarine element that fits in there on top of my 8 boxes. And the kind of the top on it, rather than having a hard top like the Yak Attack Black Pack does, it's got bungees, and the bungees are strong enough to where it can move up, so you can put a lot of extra stuff in there. So it's not only 8 boxes you could have in there, you could probably have 10 or 12, because the bungees move up enough that you can fit more stuff in there. So yeah, I mean, really, even if I wasn't on the Yak Gadget team, I would have that box because it's a better mousetrap. It just is. Again, yeah, I'm not dogging Yak Attack because I got their rod holders on there. They make fantastic products. I just think that their box, that the Yak Gadget box is better.
Yeah, I seeing it, man. I really want one because the easy accessibility of that top. But yeah, the easy accessibility and still being secure, so you ain't got to worry about stuff coming out of there. Man, it's awesome. I actually almost bought one. A dude locally was selling one, but he's like kind of north Nashville, and I'm like 40 miles south of Nashville, and our schedules never really lined up, so I never ended up being able to get it. But I'm gonna get one day.
Dude, they're worth it. So like,
but because it's on a slant too, it's easier to see in. So if you have a square box, it's harder to see. Yeah, you can't see in it.
That's what I was gonna say. Is like the shape of the box it's more ergonomically correct. Like you can, if you're a person that pays attention to how you load your crate. So like, I have the XL version, so it's got 6 rod holders, the 3 basically shelves, and the top shelf I lay a 3700 in horizontally. That's my terminal tackle. The next shelf down, I have 4 3600s in it. And then the bottom shelf, I have my spinnerbait box and just like my scale and odds and ends in. But you can, like, if you always load your box the same way, because of the shape and angle, even with the bungee waterproof cover on it, I can just reach back, pop the bungee off, know exactly what box I'm grabbing without, I mean, I can turn around in my boat really easy, especially with the swiveling seat in the Frontier, but I don't have to. Like if for some reason it's like real fast or I'm coming up to like a rapid or something like that, I can grab something really quick without losing sight of what's going on. And then I'll probably end up getting the smaller one for the Flint because the XL is huge. It's got it's got 4 rod holders on the back and then 2 on the sides, and they're all vertical. Something I figured out that I could do to make it fit in the Frontier better was take the outside 2 and angle them down a little bit and re-screw them in. So now I've got 4 facing up and 2 facing more back, which I don't ever carry them all like that. I usually keep rods in front of me. But you can put a lot of gear in it, like a crazy amount of gear in it. Because when I went to Wisconsin, like I just used that to carry all the stuff in the truck up there. And I mean, I had that bungeed bag sitting like that, just gear piled under it and soft plastics and all sorts of stuff. But it's not like right now, that's not the only crate. Like that's the only crate I use in the Frontier. But I have like a completely different setup for my Flint because I go kind of minimalist in it because I'm usually dragging that boat somewhere. But I've tried a bunch of different stuff with it. And the Flint's got like built-in 3600 holders on the sides. And then I've got the console in the front, and you can bungee I bungee my 3700 terminal box in the front. And you could slide boxes there, but I use that 16-quart Engel cooler, and you can fit 4 3600s inside, still fit 3 bottles of water, still put the tray in the drawer, or it's got like a little slide tray. You can still put that tray in there, and then I can keep all of my line, like my gloves, my Mendit, and other stuff like that, and it works real well, and it's really lightweight, and it's waterproof. And it's got strap slots on it, and they're relatively cheap. I think it was like $50, and then if you're not fishing with it, you can throw drinks in it and, do your thing.
If you're trying to figure out between the two Yak Gadget crates, the smaller one holds 3600s width-wise, and the larger, the XL, holds 3700s width-wise. So that's kind of the size difference.
I need to see if that large one will fit in my Outback. That's the only thing I'm not sure of.
And you can hold them vertically. They just wouldn't be able to 37s. Yeah, down long ways.
Right. And then do you guys like my terminal tackle? I actually have some like my Outback has a bin in the floor that I keep some of my most used terminal tackle in, but then I also have a smaller box back behind me in my crate. But I was thinking about trying to get one of those 3700 terminal boxes because they just put everything all in one spot, so it's not like where are these hooks? Are they in that box or are they behind me? You know,
I've done a little bit of everything because terminal tackle is the one thing that used to drive me nuts storing. Like I used to do it where it'd be like technique specific. Like if this box was for whatever, that's where those hooks would be. I've tried doing stuff where like I'd put wacky hooks in a bag of Senkos, but you typically go through them faster than you go through the hooks, so that didn't work. I've tried the little bitty, I don't even know what, a 3400 maybe, Plano series. That works good for like throw and go trips, because usually I'm not throwing anything crazy in that. It'll have like a couple wacky hooks, some 3 and 4/0 straight shanks, and that, I mean weights, and that's about it. You know, bobber stops or pegs. Tried I never bought the Bass Mafia terminal coffin, but a buddy of mine has it, and I kind of played with his, and I just didn't really like it. It was too many steps to get to something. That being said, you can pop out the things like the individual containers in it. You can just carry those, and that works pretty cool. But that box is, fairly expensive for a box. But Academy I think it was the beginning of this year, they have the H2O Express 3700 waterproof terminal box, which is like their take on the Bass Mafia box, but it doesn't have the containers with the clear lids on it. And that made it perfect. It's got tons of space in it, and it still has the foam inserts for the weights and the hooks, but there's nothing else to open. When you open it, there they are. And that box has worked perfect. And with it fully loaded, I have like all but one slot filled in it. I carry way too much tungsten, way too many hooks. I mean, I all the way up to swim bait underspin hooks that are like 9 and 10/0 that I'll never use, but it'll still float with all that in it, which is pretty impressive.
And who makes that one?
It's only $20, right?
Yeah, H2O Express. It's from Academy Sports, and it was $14.99 when I bought it.
Wow. Okay, that's way cheaper than the Plano one.
Yeah, I would have never tested the floating thing, but the guy that did the review on YouTube was dipping it to show that it was waterproof, and it fell out of his hand and just floated up. So I was like, well, I got to try that loaded, and
with gear in.
Yeah, fully loaded with gear, it floated right back up because it's so airtight.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm such a researcher. Like, I have to know whenever I kind of get on a subject, I have to know everything about everything with it. So, like, I researched that box. I research, and that box is great, especially for the money. I mean, it's easily the best value around. And the Cal Coast, that's great because what is it? The Battle Box, because it's got the round ones with the plungers that go on top, and that's cool. But if you're thinking about if it's got like the little film canister deals, and I'm not putting down that product. It's obviously well made and awesome. But if you've got like the little film canister deals that you're keeping everything in, then you have a lot of wasted space around where those canisters are. Because, I mean, if you put a bunch of round things in a square box, then you've lost a bunch of space. Yeah, exactly. So I totally stole this idea from Alan. Alan Reed, his YouTube is Under the Radar Fishing. So check him out. He's from Indiana. But he did something, instead of using the new Plano Edge terminal tackle box, he used the Edge one, the 3700, just the regular tackle box, the double deep one, the real deep one. And inside of that, he used 2x3 little plastic baggies you can get off Amazon for like $2. They're super cheap. And I've went to that, and I've got everything from shaky heads to, it's just got a ton of holes, and all your hooks can stand up tall. So there's plenty of rooms, like up to probably a 7 or 8/0 hook you can still get in there. So I have all my terminal tackle, all my finesse stuff, like, I mean, shaky heads, all that little tiny stuff, bobber stops, everything. Everything small I have in that box now. It all fits, and it's been, like, I have it on a Yakutak T-Rain leash onto my Fusion seat in the new canoe. So I have it on a tether. So I guess that would be kind of the only bad part is the door whenever you're trying to open it. It's not, I don't love the door on it, the way it opens up. That would be the only negative to me. So if I'm getting it with one hand, I keep it behind my seat and it's on a tether, it's just a little cumbersome to try to do. But besides that, the box is awesome. Yeah, so it fitting all your terminal tackle with those little plastic bags. I wrote on each one of them saying what they are. And if it's something I'm just using, like kind of Jimmy was saying, if I'm using shaky heads, I'll take that bag of shaky heads and I'll put in my life jacket, and then I've got all the shaky heads. So if I lose one, I don't have to go back in my box.
Yeah. Okay.
And for anybody listening, some like for Dan that works. My whole thing is less steps to get to what I want.
Yeah.
So like the Cal Coast box, I've almost bought it like 50 times.
I came real close. Yeah.
So it's one, it's huge, and two, it's just so many things to open to get to things. Like I do love that you look down and the lid, you label the lid. Like, okay, that's this hook, that's that hook. But that's like I always store stuff exactly the same. So when I open that 3700, you could blindfold me. I could probably tell you where, like, these are the wacky rig hooks. The one next to it on the left is the smaller size. Okay. If you go down 2 squares and over, that's 4/0 straight shank, 4/0 wide gap. Like, because that's how I do it. I pay attention to where my stuff is, and I don't really change it up much until the only time I really change anything up is if like I make like a change, like when I started throwing the Wicked Weights, Wicked Willows. Like I was throwing a bigger profile underspin before, and it was a bigger slot, so I had to move stuff around to make sense to accommodate. So that's when that would happen. But it's just different for everybody. I have a buddy that keeps all of his terminal in the 3400, and it's plenty for him. And like I said, when I go on like a creek trip, which lately I haven't been doing it. I used to go down to a smaller one. Now that big 3700 is just so organized. I just take the whole thing.
Yeah, there's a lot of different options out there for different ways to do your terminal tackle. I don't know if there's a perfect answer, but there's definitely something you can figure out to kind of make it your own.
Oh yeah, you can like you was saying in the PFD. I've seen a lot of guys do that with the small Ziploc bags, or like they won't unbag their hooks when they buy them. Yeah. So like this pocket will be like, well, these are my 3/0s, and then this is my wacky rigs and stuff. Like I've seen a lot of guys do that.
But, I've seen some people where they'll have a regular terminal tackle box, and then they'll have like one of those little fly boxes where they keep this stuff for that day. Like if they know they're going to throw something, they'll just keep that little fly box in their life jacket.
That brings, I wish I could find it. It's somewhere in the room. Amazon has a double-sided fly box that's about this big that is probably one of the smartest ways to carry your terminal tackle. Like, period.
Like Fluke Master use that one, right?
Actually, I think he does, yeah. And like, according to what PFD you have, because fly fishermen, it's all about what you can carry. You could get all of your tungsten and hooks in this thing in your pocket. And it's not, the double-sided one, you're not losing, like, well, I can't take these hooks. You can literally take like I saw a guy had his, like, backup treble hooks and stuff in it. Like, tons of room in a little bitty fly box.
I think if I were going to be, like, I came from the bass boat side, if I were going to go back to that, or I did both, I would probably have the battle box, because you wouldn't be worried about size. Yeah. So I think that one's probably the like you were saying, the Bass Mafia one. That one's too much for me. So to me, the battle box, if you just have like a Titan or you have a giant kayak and maybe you can have multiple boxes, that's probably where you can get the most organized. If you're the OCD person and you have to have everything perfect, I would probably go for that one, the battle box. But besides that, there's a lot of other DIY answers, you know.
I think that, like, from my perspective, if like anybody, let's say someone from Academy's listening, or the H2O Express brand, if they made that's right, they made that same box in a 3600, I'd never buy another terminal tackle box. Because that's my only complaint, is I wish it was a little smaller. Like, it fits fine and everything in my crate and all that, but instead of me, when I do my little minimalistic trip, it would just take up that little bit less space. You know, I could put it in a couple other places, but whatever.
Yeah, I could use some of those too, because, you know, when I flipped my kayak last week, I found out none of my boxes are waterproof. Had water in all of them, and then I lost my go-to box. I never saw it after I flipped, so I'm sure it sank quick.
Yeah. I've been lucky so far.
I was curious about the Yak Attack or the Yak Gadget crate with flipping. Do you think that bungee would hold that cover on there?
As long as you have all four, yeah. Because it's easier to take off, but because it kind of goes around 4 hooks. As long as you had it all 4 hooks on, like you pay attention and you make sure it's on there every time. Yeah, I think it'd be fine if you.
I can do one better than that. I put my terminal tackle and my 43600s in mine and flipped mine upside down and shook it, and nothing came out. So I would think, like he said, if you have them hooked, which that's something you'll have to, that I make sure I pay attention to when I'm on the water, is I make sure I hook it back on when I'm done, because, you know, great crate strapped in, the crate's not going anywhere, but if you don't have that hooked in, you will lose your stuff if you flip.
Well, after our conversation last week, I used to, when I get out on the water, I'd unzip mine because it's a pain to kind of zip it and unzip it, and I would let it unzipped. But then after that conversation last week, I started just keeping it zipped all the time, just on the odd chance that happens. So
yeah, I feel
You're
bad.
Welcome.
That's
I feel bad for you, Ryan, but after you explained where you were, it could have been way worse because you flipped in a strainer. But like, B, you're stupid for doing that by yourself, man. You got to be careful around those down trees like that. Because like the guys I fished with today were talking about, they listened to it. They was like, man, it sounds like Ryan almost, drowned for real. He's like, does he not know what strainers are? And I was like, man, he's new to that kind of stuff. I was like, but I don't think he knew how serious that situation could have been. So do better.
Oh, trust me, I'm avoiding. Anytime I go back, I'm avoiding that tree. You know, I'm not casting that eddy over there. Fish can be in it. I don't care. They can stay over there. I ain't messing with them.
Explain that to us, Jimmy. Since you're somebody, you've been in a kayak longer than me. Explain a strainer.
All right, so I'll do it from his story. So a strainer is basically an obstruction okay, first off, we're in moving water, creek, river, doesn't matter. A strainer would be an obstruction that is down in the water that's allowing water to rush or pass under it. Now, there's probably a more technical definition. Drew Gregory can correct me on that. That'd be awesome. But the dangerous thing with a strainer is what the current does in that area is sometimes it's funneling in, so the current under the surface is faster. From the way you explained your story, Ryan didn't even really know what happened. He was there 1 minute, and the next minute he's out of the boat. And I've been very close to having that happen from a cross current. You're literally sitting there, and the next thing, you just feel the weight shift, and it's because it's basically washing the bottom out, kind of curling it. But the dangerous part of the strainer is, if your tree's hanging branches or anything like that down, because of the funneling flow of the water, it's going to want to pull you down to it. And wearing your PFD, even with your PFD on, it can suck you down to the branch, and you can get snagged up, and then you're there. Because I can't remember all the numbers, but water per square foot moving at such a rate, stronger and heavier than you are. So it can become a very bad situation very quick. Like I don't get scared about running rapids too much or doing stuff like that, but when we hit a creek and I see a strainer, I immediately start slowing my rate down and back paddling and try to find a way around it. Now, if it's super shallow water, I don't really worry about it, but I mean, you can drown in a foot of water. Like we had a local guy
tablespoon.
Here. Yeah, we had a local guy here flip on a fun trip, and he got caught under the tree. It was a weird setup. He could barely get his head above the water, but his head kept hitting his kayak, so he could not get up. And everybody thought he was fine until they realized he didn't come out the other side. And then we're talking like, I think he said it was like maybe waist deep water. But the way he was stuck and with his boat being shoved into the tree, he was there. But yeah, so little side note for the new people, if you're getting into the moving stuff, strainers are dangerous, low head dams are dangerous. Just if you're going to do something you think might be sketchy, just make sure you go with somebody, especially you, Ryan.
Well, see, I don't know. I could be wrong, but I feel like this isn't quite as bad as what after the incident. When I was looking for my stuff, I was holding my kayak. I was walking, and I walked all in front of this tree and stuff, where I hit, trying to feel for my stuff that I had lost.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't take much. Like, if for some reason when you flipped, you had hooked a branch just right to a point where it held you underwater, like you could panic and drown that fast.
Yeah.
Like, some people don't have a cool enough head to, all right, calm down. Where am I stuck? Hold your breath. Okay. Even I've seen guys get hooked and take off their PFD, because that's how snagged up they were. But I mean, I wouldn't recommend that unless you're a phenomenal swimmer, because it just. But
yeah,
we're getting off on a tangent here. It just, I was worried about you when you explained that, and guys that I float with, we had a conversation about it today, and they was like, man, that sounded sketchy. Does he not know about that? And I was like, man, he's new to all that, so no.
Yeah, I'd never heard of it till you said something about it. But
and some of them, I've done it before, just wade fishing. I've seen them where it's flat on top and just barely a little bit of bubbles and foam coming out, and you go stand next to it, and it'll almost suck your feet out from under you.
Wow.
Because the current on the bottom, because the way the water is being rushed under, the current on the bottom is worse than the current on the top.
There you go.
Yeah. All right, so back to storage, guys.
I'm definitely gonna be looking out. But yeah.
Ryan, what do you use on the back of yours? I was gonna ask. I couldn't remember exactly what your setup is like.
I've just got a milk crate, just a Walmart milk crate. I actually bought 2 of them, and I cut the bottom out of one of them, and I got it on the top as a lid, and took some. I took some PVC, and I believe it's 1.5 inch PVC, and I basically notched them out, notched out the reel and notched out. Zip tied to the side of my crate, and I've got 4 of them on there, and they're all horizontal, and basically it's full circle on the end, put my rod end in, and okay.
Oh no.
Here comes the technical malfunction.
Okay,
he made himself laugh. Poor guy.
Unintentionally. That was unintentional. But yeah, the end of the rod goes into the part that's still full, still full piece of PVC there. Sorry, I got something that popped up on my screen there when my mic almost the reel to sit, and then there's a cupped area for the rod to lay in, and it did pretty good holding my rods when I flipped. I didn't lose any rods.
That's good. Just broke your favorite one.
Yeah, but that wasn't the crate though. That's where I set it on the front.
Yeah. It's it's. I don't mean to rehash your bad experience, but man, that's that.
No, you learn from stuff like that, man.
Yeah, nobody wants to flip. You're going to lose some stuff no matter what.
Yeah, I haven't. Like I
In
said,
my very first tournament, I flipped. Luckily, I was in shallow water, so I didn't really lose a lot. I broke a couple of things, but and I lost like a pair of pliers, but I got real lucky. It was just totally my fault. Just new.
I've came really close twice. One wasn't my fault. I got hooked on a rock and the boat shifted sideways and it was tipping over. And I was fine. I was in shallow water and I put my foot down. My buddy had his head down and was tying something on and didn't notice and ran straight into me. And then I came out, but I just landed on my feet. But I got in I'm trying to think of what it would be called, but I came down a waterfall and came out of the chute and it swirls left. Well, that water spins.
Came down a waterfall?
Oh, it's a drop off. A rapid. If you looked at it from the downside, it looks like a waterfall, but it's actually just a giant mossy rock. So you slide down it real. Like, it looks intimidating. It is the most fun thing in the world. But the bottom washes out to the left, and I was going through, and the water washed under me like I was talking about. And the way I thought I needed to be leaning was wrong, so it actually picked the flint up on its side like this. And I've got two buddies that were with me that can attest to it. I was leaning over the right side around the hole with my hand in the scupper hole, and I somehow kept the boat on its side and got it back down in the water, and I never lost anything. But that's the closest I've come to coming out of the boat.
It sounds like something on Fast and the Furious, kayak edition.
If you had heard the audio, it wasn't that. Because there was a whole lot of me yelling and laughing and profanities, and it was funny. So getting back to the storage, we talked about all the crate storage and like storing your planos and stuff. I have got like a gold product for keeping my soft plastics, but I want to know what y'all keep y'all soft plastics in now.
I cram them in my crate.
There you go. Cramming them in the crate.
I've got a $10 tackle bag from Walmart that zips up that I just throw them all in there and throw that on top of my crate.
Dude, I think I've used every one of those that them and Academy have ever came up with, and they all work great.
Yeah, I have the H2O Express, the Academy deal. It's like a little pack with I don't know, it's kind of like a Letterman's bag, if you ever seen one of those.
Yeah.
Except like it holds like probably 12, 14 packs of plastics in there. Plus I keep my BAM spray and some dye, so I can keep all that in there. It's a little small. Like I wish, like you were saying, their box you want to be a little smaller. I want their bag to be just a little bigger.
They have. I don't know if they still make it. I know the H2 Express, they had a bait binder that a buddy of mine has that's blue, and I think when we counted it out, he had like 40 or 50 bags of plastics in it.
Wow.
It's like that tall when he's got it packed. It looks like it's about to explode.
I've never used the binder. That seems like you were saying earlier, where it's like you have to do more than one thing to get to them.
Yeah.
Like you have to, and that's like one step too many for me. Mine had to open up, and there they are. But
yeah, that's kind of what. And like I like the idea of it, but the more you stack, the more it swells, and it just doesn't become efficient, and then it's hard to put it anywhere. Yeah. So what I've swapped to this year was, so here's something hard for everybody to store is Kitex or anything that comes in clamshells.
Yes. I need this.
So for that, the Bass Mafia money bags you can fit, I can't even tell you how many I've got in one of them. I bet you I've got 20 different things of Kitex in there, still in their packaging. But that Bass Mafia money bag, you can fit them side by side, and then you alternate the packages. And you could, like, I seriously probably have 20 or more packs of Kitex in one. But the middle zipper, or the middle ziplock and the zipper just easily zip, even with all that in there. They're waterproof. They're not puncture proof, but they're pretty hard to poke a hole in because it's super thick. I guess it's plastic. It's probably some kind of like silicone base or something. But and then for soft plastic bags, like your worms and stuff, the KVD Worm Bags are amazing. They're cardboard lined. They're like a faux leather. They're not waterproof, but they have two sizes. They have the small, which I think it says can hold 12 packs of worms in it, 8, something like that. I can tell you right now, I've got 25 packs of worms in one of them, and it's not swollen, and it zips perfect. And I carry 2 of those. I keep like power fishing, finesse. I kind of separate it up. And then they have one that's like, it's basically 2 of them together. So you can put 2 rows of bags in it, and it'll hold the clamshell stuff in it too. I just didn't want to mix all of it up. But those things are like, I think the small one's $12 and the big one's $20. And I have beat the mess out of mine. They've been filled up with water, and they just keep on going. I haven't broke the zippers. I haven't broke the handles. And like, they're perfect. Like in the Frontier and the Flint, I can put them back to like butt to butt, and they'll sit right under the front of the seat, or they'll sit right behind the seat, and you can get them without. And if you pack them kind of like I did, like this is like Cincos and like drop shot worms. I know the one on the right is that, and then the one on the left is like crawls and bugs and stuff. Pretty cool little bag, and it's cheap.
See, I was excited when you started talking about
that big seat. Yeah, sorry.
I think I'm lagging again, so.
You're lagging, bro. But yeah, Z-Man has a big one. I've been looking at that for a while. Like, I hate that it's baby blue because it would just look weird to me in my kayak. But besides that, like, I would be able to keep a lot more stuff in there. So I'm kind of thinking about going to that one.
Something I've seen people using that actually works way better than I thought it would is those tackle rolls. If y'all know what I'm talking about.
The
Raptor rolls.
Raptor, yeah.
Yeah, a buddy of mine has one that's just for his like big swim baits, like his depths and his big S wavers, and because that's the problem for everybody that throws swim baits is where you put them. I mean, I don't have swim baits half that size that I can't put in boxes because they're too tall. But he's probably got 20 different swim baits, and they all roll up nice and neat, and he can just throw them in a crate in the back.
Wow, that's an expensive roll.
Yes, yeah. When he brought it to Gunnersville, it's Matt formerly from Hook One.
Yeah.
He brought it to show me a couple of his new ones, and he rolled it out on the tailgate, and I took a picture of it. He's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I've never seen $3,000 laying right here, on a tailgate like this before."
Tether that dude down.
Yeah, I wouldn't take the whole bag with me. There's no way.
Me and him are supposed to go fishing sometime. We ain't been able to link up though.
Yeah, he got a new job, so he's been kind of busy. He was coming to Gunnersville every week, and now he's living a real life and working.
Dan, I actually have the Z-Man binder, and the only thing I don't like about it is the only place it fits on my kayak is under the seat. So
well, the new, it's not the binder. It's like they have a new, I don't know, a big like rectangular deal.
It's kind of like a miniature duffel bag.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, something totally different they just came out with.
Do you not like putting stuff under your seat, Sean?
When if I have to paddle, like in the river when it's shallow, I have to take my drive out and I have to put it somewhere. So I usually put my fins under my seat, and I also put my net there when I am when I don't have it out, and I have the Z-Man binder there. So it's not really easy to get anything out of there when all that stuff is kind of crammed under there. So.
And then stuff falls out of your seat if you flip.
Right.
I found that out.
Yeah, have it wedged under there, like you said, right?
Like I've got the seat raised up on the Frontier, and I actually have a drawer under it. And I was thinking about that when we were talking about you flipping the other day, and I was like, man, I usually keep all of the expensive stuff I'm using at that time right in that thing, and it's not tethered down. There's no lid. If I got too far on the side, it's gone. So I need to reevaluate that.
Living life on the edge.
Yeah. Flirting with disaster. That's how I live my life.
Well, that was the other thing I ordered after last week's episode was a tether for my fins, because when I wedge them under my seat, if I flip, they'd be gone too, and that would be really, really expensive.
Dude, I would go home so fast and just cry. That's an expensive loss. Like I've lost a rod. That's expensive. If my Hobie drive went to the bottom of the lake, I'm going to get it.
Yeah. So, all right. Brian, do you have anything else? Any other tackle storage you wanted to cover? I'm trying to think of other things that I've dealt with or problems that I haven't overcome yet. The one thing, like my Jackson had actually kind of pockets on the side of the seats that I could put in to 3600 boxes, and that was awesome. I miss those on the Hobie. Now the Hobie has those kind of spots in the side rail that you can put the little bungee over, but I don't put them in there. It just seems like they're in the way then. So
yeah, the Flint has something similar to that on it, and I love it. Whether I put the boxes in it or not, like I'll have like the box I'm using on the left, and then the slot on the right is usually like the plastics I'm using right now, because it's a stretchy bungee. You can put 10 bags of plastics right there. And that's just like, at the end of the day, it makes cleanup easier. It's like I got my Yak Gadget cup holder with all of my spent baits, got all the plastics I used today, close them up, throw them in the truck, and then take the boxes out and load them up and go.
I'm just trying to think of anything else that has been a headache.
What do you do for dry storage
I was about to ask about dry bags.
I don't have any dry storage on my Outback. I used to have on my Jackson. I had a seat back bag, but on my Hobie I don't have anything.
The bag they use on the old Sea Line bags, those are high quality watertight bags.
I tried to keep mine when I sold my Jackson, but the guy was like, "Hey, where's that seat bag?" And I was like,
Funny story. Last year, I bought a Blim model Kusa HD from a guy that works at Jackson. I bought it just because the price, it was brand new. I got it for like $800. It came with 3 seats and every accessory Jackson has ever included on any of their boats. That's why I bought it. It came with the Sweet Cheeks from the whitewater boats, which for anybody that doesn't know what that is, it's like a bead-filled inflatable-ish bag to sit on, and it's like sitting on heaven. It's kind of big and awkward. But it came with that, all the dry bags they've ever done, literally everything. I literally bought that boat, got all those accessories, and then sold the boat to a buddy like 2 weeks later for what I paid for it. I just wanted the accessories. And I still have 2 Jackson spare seats sitting in my shed right now that I will never need. But one of y'all, I know Jackson guys. Ryan's Jackson guy. You ever need a seat? Hit me up, bro. I got I think both of mine are all the new Elite seats too.
If it'll fit, luckily I didn't lose that one I flipped. If I ever do, though, I'll be hitting you up.
You'll be the stand-up paddleboard really quick.
Yeah.
You can see him bent over pedaling with his hands. That'd be hilarious.
I've actually done that while I'm trying to look at something. I've just grabbed it and cranked it.
Dude, I do. My buddy called it trolling. I do that with my Frontier with the pivot drive all the time. When I'm fishing down a bank, I turn my seat sideways and I'll just reach over with my right hand, crank the lever a few times, ease down the bank, crank the lever a few times. It works pretty good. But he's talking about dry bags, though. That's definitely, I think everybody should at least keep one small one.
Yeah. I'd never used one before I got my Jackson, but the Bite FD don't have any type of storage as far as internal. There's no compartments or nothing like that. Yeah. And so I got some essentials that I keep on the kayak, like rain gear, first aid kit. I always keep a pack of zip ties and bungees in there because you never know when they might come in handy. Just stuff like that. And I needed somewhere to put that. So I ended up buying just a Walmart brand dry bag. I think it was $12 or $15,
So
nothing crazy.
I used to do backpacking hiking stuff, and I'm a gear whore. The Walmart brand dry bags are actually very underrated. I've put mine through tons of tests, and it is actually pretty watertight. They're just not, the nylon's not as strong against tearing.
Yeah.
But other than that, I think they're perfect for kayaks.
Well, see, mine, I put it on the front of the kayak, in the well, It's got the bungee cords over the front. Well, I just stick it under the bungees, and then, whenever you roll it up, it comes together and just snaps. Well, I just snap it around the bungee. That way, if it ever the bungees, it'll still be holding on. But when I flipped it, the kayak flipped completely over, so it had to be underwater and nothing was wet inside it, so it did its job.
Yeah. What about you, Dan? You do any dry storage on yours?
No, I mean, I have the front hatch on the Pursuit right now, and I keep stuff in like the gallon Ziploc bags, the regular, regular stuff I keep in there. I also have one of those Bassmaster bags that you get whenever you do the membership. Everybody's got them. I keep my tools in one of those, so
yeah, that's a good way to keep tools in.
Yeah, I'll keep a whole lot of stuff in there.
Yeah, I usually use. I got it from Hook One. It's like a really thick material dry bag backpack, and I got it because I can fit my full rain suit in there, like a change of clothes. That's what I keep my Raymarine 9 in when I'm traveling. I keep the cover on it and keep it in there. You can keep a towel in there. You can pack a lot of stuff because it's like a 40 liter, but it also packs down. Like if I just put my rain gear in it for the Flint, like you said, Ryan, the Flint has a rear hatch, but it is not accessible to you when you're in it.
Yeah.
And it's really small. It's just hull access is all it is. But I'll just put it in the front and bungee it to the dash, if I'm doing a tournament in that boat, because usually I'll only take my rain gear at that point, like that and a towel. But
yeah, I have some dry bags that I would use. It just seems like if it's raining, I'm either wearing it or it's dry or it's not raining.
Yeah. I'm stubborn. Like even at Logan Martin, I didn't put my rain gear on until I was okay, it's not going to stop raining, so I guess I need to.
Mine's so comfortable. I like being in it,
I need the upgrade. I won't dog on the brand that I have, but I was very upset to know that my extremely expensive rain suit still soaked through.
I'll say, man, no, not a sponsor, but Gill, their stuff is amazing. Gill, I'm Gill for life. Gill for life, throwing up gang signs. I mean, it's it's legit. I love their stuff is amazing.
You and I think Jackson were talking about it. Jackson Orr.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've got some really expensive rain gear too. I got the Frog Togs from Walmart. Yeah, the $30 set. Yeah.
I have a little set that you get for $20 that comes in a bag, and sometimes I'll keep that, but it gets so warm down here. I really don't. I don't use it in the summer or anything. I just get wet. I just go with it. But
yeah, it was raining this morning when I got out there for the tournament, and I just sat in the rain,
Yeah, it was storming on our way to the river this morning, and I just was like, I don't care. It's gonna be hot. Bring it. And then of course we got there.
It actually got cool this morning. It got to a point where I almost shivered. I was like, man, are we already getting into fall? Yeah, I know it's coming into September, but
one can only hope.
Yeah.
The Alabama humidity.
Oh man, that's gonna fall. I feel like it's gonna be what brings my confidence back up. I've been struggling here lately quite a bit, but I feel like fall's gonna bring my confidence back up.
I'm only gonna throw 2 baits in the fall: a fluke and a spook, and that's it. That's the only thing I need in the fall.
I gotta throw a jig.
I just get them to come to the top.
A lipless
60 foot of water.
A lipless in the fall. That's my favorite bait.
I need to throw a lipless more. I used to throw it all the time, and I just do not now.
I think that's kind of the thing with it. I still throw it all the time, and I think it's so successful because jackhammers and everything else, people quit throwing them.
Same thing with spinner baits. That's Jody Queen's Mr. Jackhammers went back to whip and tail with a spinner bait.
Well, that whenever he was talking about that, That made me think. Brad said he's never had much luck catching smallmouth with a jackhammer, or with chatterbait. So I was wondering if that was kind of the same thing with Joe. I can't remember if we asked him about if he usually used jackhammer with smallmouth.
He said he just never had any luck on the Susquehanna with it, I believe. He said he's thrown it, the chatterbait, but never had any luck. I've had luck at losing them on the Susquehanna, but that's about the extent of it.
Yeah, I don't think I've caught a smallmouth on a chatterbait.
I'll bet you that, like I was looking at that new stealth blade at a store this weekend. I bet you that would be better for smallmouth.
They in stores now?
Yeah, well, up in Gunnersville, I was at Gunnersville Tackle Outdoors. That place is.
Yeah.
Oh Lord, that place is.
I can't go in there.
I know
They encourage me to spend too much money, and I'm just like, okay.
They have like all the cool stuff you've never seen. That store is amazing.
I might need to go for a little drive.
Dude, it is worth the drive.
Yeah,
I've got fed up before. That's like an hour from my house. I've been like tackle shopping, got fed up. I can't find what I was, drove there because I know they'll have it, and I'll buy something else while I'm there.
I plan on coming down there and fishing with y'all at some point. So.
Well, it sounds like that we may be coming to your neck of the woods on the 12th.
I don't know. We'll see.
Me, Brian, and Jay are talking about it. Because not many other people are going to make the meetup, so I think we're going to end up on like Chick. Yeah.
Dang. We're going camping that weekend. We're going to be on Smith Lake.
We're either going to Chickamauga, or I'm trying to talk them into going to the Collins River and go chase river smallmouth. And you probably wouldn't get a muskie right now. I'm sure the water's way too hot for it, but there's muskie in it.
Huh.
We'll see.
Well, I've got a tournament that day. Well, I'm supposed to have a tournament that day. After this weekend, I don't know if I want to do any more tournaments for a while.
Tournaments are overrated. Just come fish with us.
I mean, it'd be kind of crappy if I didn't show up whenever y'all come to my area. Well, close to my area, anyways.
Yeah. Well, I'll be up there for Chick for the Bassmaster event in November. So.
Me too. I'm gonna donate some more of my money. No, I'm gonna when we have Russ on, I'm gonna just try and pay him to guide me around Chick for a little while.
He's probably the one to ask.
Yeah, that'd be a good one.
Y'all just need to go in together on that.
I'm just gonna figure out what he drives and just wait for him to leave the captain's meeting.
He's got Silverado with the with the dang Cadillac thing up front.
See, Dan's already got it.
Oh, I'm prepared. I'm following him around.
I just gotta follow Dan's white Tacoma. We're good.
We'll just all convoy behind Russ.
35 people at one launch.
Yeah.
And he would still whip our tails.
Yeah. He gets there. Man, nobody's here. This is great. Oh, Lord, look at all the people behind me.
All right, guys. Well, y'all got anything to touch on real quick before we start wrapping this up?
Nope. Just, as always, thanks for listening.
Wear your PFD.
Get one of them Yak Gadget crates.
Yeah, dude. Yeah,
that is on my list.
Absolutely. You don't need any other crate. If you need another crate, get both sizes. That's it. Like, I'm straight up, whether I was sponsored by them or not, that crate is, because I saw it way before I was part of his team. I saw it at an expo. That thing is awesome. Very well built. It's lightweight. Like, you'll love it.
Yep.
I strongly recommend it.
Cool. Well, Dan, Jimmy, I appreciate y'all jumping on here at such a late notice. Best wishes out there to, well, I ain't going to throw out his business, but our guest that we did have lined up, best wishes to him. Hope he's feeling all right now. But yeah, so this is coming out in the morning. So y'all are listening to this on Monday night. You check out Dan and Jimmy over on the Reel Down if you don't already. They do a live stream on the Paddle and Fin Facebook page on Monday nights, 8 o'clock, right?
Yep, that's right.
And if you can't...
Snyder on this week. So.
Again, we're letting him host. He's going to ask us.
But, yeah, if you can't catch the live feed, check them out on the podcast version on Tuesday. But other than that, this has been the Bass Fishing for Noobs segment, bringing you the techniques, tricks, and tips to help you rip more lips. Later.
Good job.
Thanks for tuning in to another killer episode on Paddle and Fin. Don't forget to go check out our website at paddle_and_fin.com. Don't forget to check out the YouTube channel at Paddle and Fin. If you got a question, comment, want to hear from a future guest on a future episode, feel free to email us at paddle_and_fin@gmail.com. Don't forget to follow us on social media at Paddle and Fin on Facebook and Instagram. Shout out to our show supporters, Angler. The Angler button and app just makes for a better time on the water and creates a virtual logbook for every fishing outing out on the water. Shout out to Rocktown Adventures, located in Northern Illinois, for all your kayaking, camping, and hiking needs. TRC Covers, protect your investment. Ketch Products, shout out to Ketch Products. Go to ketchproducts.com and put the Paddle and Fin logo directly on your catch board. Shout out to JigMasters Jigs. When in doubt, get the jig out. Go to JigMasters.com, use promo code PNF20 and save 20% on all your jig and tackle needs.